So Adams being attended to, and the freshman Brendan Adams, no relation, the 6'4" freshman out of Hanover, Maryland, coming into the game. He's wearing number 10. This is Gilbert trying to get all the way to the goal, dumping it off for Carlton, and that same combination.
Well, a year ago, Gary, Alterique Gilbert would have tried to force something at the rim. He felt the pressure. He knew Carlton was rolling to the rim off that special set. Point guard energy felt early.
First personal, second opportunity.
That's one thing, Gary, with 2 fouls already in the first minute of the game, Connecticut has to get used to playing this style. You know, they want to be aggressive. They want to get out and play people tough on the perimeter, but it's a fine line. You have to do that without fouling.
High arcing jump shot from Davon Cooper goes down. Connecticut, we can see right out of the gate, Tim, they want to push the tempo from an offensive standpoint. They want to get up the floor, whether it's a missed shot or through the bucket, they want to get out and run. Gilbert again dumping to Carlton. Nice spin move inside. Too hard off the back iron, controlled by Lamontre Harris. Harris trying to get all the way to the bucket and took an extra step.
Now, Lamontre Harris, that's not a bad play, though, because against this Connecticut defense, you're not going to be able to set up and run your set type plays that you draw up in the offseason, and you have your team skeleton every day in practice. You have to spread the floor and try to beat Connecticut off the bounce with some space, because they're really going to pressure the ball and attack and overplay on the wings.
Jalen Adams quickly back into the game for Connecticut, and Brandon Adams sits down. This backcourt of Alterique Gilbert and Jalen Adams has a chance to be very special. These are two talented players, both who came out of high school with high acclaim. Gilbert, Mr. Basketball, State of Georgia, a little floater by Adams won't go down, and here comes Morehead State. It's A.J. Hicks pulling up from beyond the arc, rims out. Knocked out of bounds by Polley, going to stay with Morehead State.
Well, again, Gary, you alluded to it with the smaller type lineup, and Polley has the size, but he's not a rebounder. A concern for UConn will be on the glass. You know, who's not only going to clean up the defense, but get up those second chance opportunities on the offensive end.
A.J. Hicks. Good interior passing, but there's an extra step, and again, I think it's that Connecticut defense that's causing Morehead State to have second thoughts in there.
Well, when a team comes at you like that, it's very hard to simulate that in practice, especially with the length UConn has at the guard spot and some of the things they will do with their pressure. And it's called a little bit of a happy feet out there right now for Morehead State. They're just not in rhythm because of the pressure.
Jordan Walker picking up Gilbert in the backcourt. Gilbert working off the bounce. Polley, little floater, and he's hit on the way up. He's going to shoot two.
A little bit of a bailout there by Morehead State, because Polley was off balance, and that's the type of game you want him to get into. Make him put it on the floor with his left floater in the lane. He wasn't going to make that shot, but Morehead bailed him out.
That foul on Jordan Walker, sending Tyler Polley to the free throw line. 75% free throw shooter a season ago. And he knocks down the first.
Polley gives him a little bit of a shooting forward. He can spot him up in the corner, and then they've got the three guards around him, and they'll put 4 around 1 with Carlton down in the low box.
Fight for the rebound, and foul called on Josh Carlton.
Team foul number 3.
I'm Morehead. I keep attacking because UConn could get into foul trouble. And there's the little push off on the rebound, and then the reach in. He got away with 2 fouls on that one.
Number 32, Jaimin Henson, has checked into the game for Morehead State. Malik Green trying to go to work on Carlton. Hicks cut off on the baseline. There's Green from way downtown. Too hard off the back iron, and Christian Battelle out of control, and it goes back over to the Eagles. Hicks all the way down the lane, and Carleton rising up to swat it away. And there's the follow dunk by Lamontre Harris, and a technical foul for hanging on the rim.
Well, Lamontre, good play, bad play. Nice aggressive defense by Morehead, staying with the play after the great block by Carleton. They just hung with it and deflected the pass and attacked and then re-attacked and then hung on. No, thank you, Don Daly said.
Officials wasting no time making that call. That was excessive without question. There was nobody underneath him that would have prevented him from coming down without getting injured, and so that's excessive celebration, and they immediately called the technical foul.
Still happy about it. He's flexing his muscles, but not understanding that it just cost his team, well, not much.
Jalen Adams too hard off the back iron. Preston Spradlin's team opened up their season on Tuesday night with a win against Kentucky Christian, an NAIA team, and they won handily 102-82.
Impressive young guy. He's taking over a Morehead program. Really, they were left with nothing a year ago, and he took his lumps, and he's confident they're going to build it back up the right way.
UConn easily breaking the pressure. Jalen Adams kicking it back out for Gilbert. Attacking off the window.
See, if you're going to play against UConn, that's one thing you cannot do, overextend on the perimeter. That's what they want to do. They want to get the ball on the bounce, attack the rim. Their weakness is from the perimeter and their perimeter shooting. Right now, Morehead is playing right into their hands defensively.
And that's an offensive foul going back over to Connecticut. Foul on Malik Green. That's his first personal, second on the Eagles.
In order to break that seal, that sort of perimeter pressure for UConn, you've got to not only space the floor, try to use some ball screens, but some dribble handoffs to get the ball into the gaps and get the defense moving. That first and second pass is the toughest against this defense.
Number 2, Terrence Smith has checked into the game. He's the grad transfer from Duquesne, and that is an offensive foul on Jalen Adams as Diamond Henson hits the deck very hard.
UConn was running a little bit of a dribble handoff offense from side to side, and just kind of a crash at the delivery there. I'm not sure that was a foul on Adams. The defender ran into him.
Well, Adams did not like the call. This is Henson, slips but keeps his balance, then gets to the bucket, can't finish. There's a run out. Jalen Adams ahead of the field, hanging and then kissing in off the window. What body control by Jalen Adams.
What body control, and a big time outlet from Josh Carleton up the floor.
First bucket of the season for Jalen Adams in Carleton. There again, but the high arcing floater goes down for Morehead State.
Carleton's showing much more energy and physical ability around the basket to protect so far.
Well, we spoke about it at the outset. Jalen Adams is going to be so critical to the success or lack of it for this UConn team. Changing in midair and then kissing off the window. UConn by 2.
When he threw Tristan Thompson off the team in the middle of the season, he's not afraid to do it the right thing no matter who you are, and they'll learn quickly about that here at UConn.
Well, there's Adams off the inbound from Terrence Smith. Brendan Adams also into the game now, the freshman, and Isaiah Whaley, number 5 as well. Tyler Polley into traffic, cannot get it to go, and it's swatted away and taken by Lamontre Harris.
That's what you have to do. Crowd Polley, make him put it on the deck. He doesn't have the strength to finish at the rim.
This is Hicks going to work on Jalen Adams, getting it back for Malik Green, the high arcing jump shot, and he gets it to go down.
Well, the 3 sophomores from Morehead State really have improved quite a bit. Green, Cooper, and Baker, and Morehead State's going to rely on those 3 youngsters a lot this season.
foul on the floor. This is a Morehead State team that did not have a very good year season ago. 8-21, 4-14 in the Ohio Valley Conference. They finished last in their conference, so only one way to go, and that's up. Preston Spradlin brings back 10 players from a season ago. He's optimistic that they can improve substantially this season.
Well, you see that they have a lot of confidence. They're kind of gritty. Really, it's going to come down to can they handle the basketball. They don't have a lot of good passers on the team. They don't have a lot of good skill guys, so can they handle the pressure for 40 minutes?
Jalen Adams down the lane, putting it in off the window, and UConn reclaims the lead. That's Hicks trying to get to the bucket, and that is called on the floor before the shot.
Well, here's UConn at its best. They're in space the floor, and they got Jalen Adams with a lot of room to roam to the basket and just way too easy. Morehead State trying to overplay, but no help on the backside.
Well, 10 of 11 points for UConn have been scored in the paint so far, so they've been able to get to the bucket. Shot clock at 15 here for Morehead State. They play tonight against Connecticut, then go up to play Syracuse, so a very tough swing to start the season off the air ball. This is Brendan Adams spotting Terrence Smith. Jalen Adams straight away. Cobb fighting for the rebound, and he's called for the foul.
Cobb did not have the inside position, but that was good offense by UConn, just pushing the pace, driving and kicking to the perimeter, and you'll see Cobb try to just push off on the inside, get the little guy down low and just kind of extends. As our friend Coach Rafferty would say, a little nickel dimer, but refs, it's their first game too, or second this season. They've got to get into their rhythm, and Dan is pleading on the sideline.
Well, Eric Cobb, if he looks a little bit different, it's because he's dropped 35 pounds from a season ago. The big man who began his career at South Carolina, right down the lane, and there's Isaiah Whaley swatting it away. James Baker's shot goes off him, and back the other way we go.
Now, UConn is going to pressure. They're going to learn how to play this defense without fouling, maybe back it up a touch. But one thing you're going to see, and you've seen with every shot tonight, is been contested.
Well, Terrence Smith knows the Hurley family very well. He played for Bob Hurley Sr. at St. Anthony before embarking on his college career. Began at Nebraska, then transferred to Duquesne. He was the 6th man of the year a season ago at Duquesne. Shot clock is under 10. Jalen Adams, so smooth, and man, hangs on the rim and falls in. Jalen Adams now with 6 points for UConn.
I think Jalen also likes being off the ball where he doesn't have as much pressure on him at the start. They let things get into rhythm and then let him go.
Little fade away from Jaimin Henson won't go down, and Connecticut looks to push the tempo again. Brendan Adams lost his footing. That's a travel.
Huskies have the three. Alfred Cooper coming in for the Eagles, number 13, Lamontre Harris.
You can see what UConn wants to do, Gary. Just extend the defense. It's not a gambling defense, but they're trying to wear you out with their man-to-man pressure. They have a lot of depth at the guard spot. Dan will rotate guys in and out. He talked about it earlier today. Jalen Adams played 38 minutes a game. He's going to try to push that back to about 32. Still going to rely on him a lot on the offensive end, but also give him a little bit of a break so he doesn't have to play this relentless pace all night long.
Morehead State has not scored now in the last 2 minutes and 25 seconds. All the way to the bucket, and there's a rejection by Isaiah Whaley on James Baker. Gilbert trying to work around the Cobb screen. We're at 12 minutes to go here in the opening half. Gampel Pavilion, opening night for the Huskies. Gilbert pulling up from way downtown. Tariq Gilbert now with 5 points, his first 3 of the year.
A lot of good presence of mind. A year ago, he would have forced things early in the clock. He was very patient, and the presence of mind just to wait till the defense held back a little bit and then knocked it in.
Lamontre Harris can't finish inside. This is Cobb. Good footwork inside, but cannot finish. Terrence Smith keeps it alive and throws it off Lamontre Harris, and it stays with Connecticut.
Now Connecticut, a renewed energy with some of their instant offense guys. Gilbert, he's back, and he's healthy. On the offensive end, and that's where he's at his best. So far so good though. He looks very much into the flow tonight.
Christian Battaglia checked back in for Connecticut. He's in the backcourt with Altariq Gilbert. Has it stripped away by Davon Cooper. Back come the Eagles. They've got numbers, but UConn quickly getting back, and there's Cooper, nothing but net on the long three.
And that's what you have to do against this UConn pressure. You have to attack quickly change sides of the floor, and then go to score.
Gilbert, the defense does a step up, but he can't finish, and it's Malik Green going up for the rebound. Harris trying to go to work. Back to Hicks straight away, too hard off the back iron. Harris, the offensive rebound. That's swatted away by Polly. Harris again. And Isaiah Whaley on the floor in considerable pain.
Well, good job by Morehead, though, on that play, staying with the play around the rim. And obviously they're challenged size-wise, but they show good toughness on the putback.
Isaiah Whaley limping off to the end of the Connecticut bench.
You see the length of UConn, and then you see Whaley just seems to come down awkwardly.
Being attended to by athletic trainer James Doran in his 14th season here at Connecticut. Well, the officials looking to see if there was anything inadvertent there, but it does not appear that that was the case. And so it's Connecticut basketball midway through this first half. We're at just under 10 minutes to go. Gamble Pavilion, UConn opening the season against Morehead State. Just the second all-time meeting between these two teams. They met back in 2005 in this building when UConn got the win 129-61. That's Tyler Polly, too hard.
A little bit of a force there by Pauly, and he's got to understand his role. He can make those shots, but he's got to be more open.
Davon Cooper down the lane, and there's Josh Carlton from the weak side. Gilbert to a cutting Christian Battaglia, putting it in, and UConn running beautifully and finishing.
Well, they continue to attack Josh Carlton. They've got to change that strategy quickly, because he's just planting himself right in front of the rim and protecting the basket.
UConn has 6 blocked shots already in this game. They had a season high of 8 a season ago in a game, so closing in on that early in this game. Harris getting bumped on the way up. He's going to shoot 2.
Well, Josh Carlton, just that energy around the rim. He looks like he's in great physical shape. He's been running the floor and elevating and then coming back the other way. This is where the 3-guard offense is at its best.
Well, Josh Carlton, the sophomore from Winterville, North Carolina, played a couple of years of high school ball at DeMatha Catholic, one of the legendary high school programs in America.
It looks like he's tightened his body, and obviously the big jump is to figure out how to condition yourself from your freshman year to your sophomore year. And obviously freshmen don't know coming in what's needed at this level. And Josh played a lot of good minutes for UConn a year ago in conference. He improved as the season went on. So you see his presence being felt defensively already tonight.
Well, one of the things that Dan Hurley spoke to us about was he wants his bigs to defend, right? He doesn't know what he's going to get from them from an offensive standpoint, but if they can defend and get block shots, get the ball off the rim and out on the break, and they can play faster, it's going to be a successful season for his bigs.
Well, they'll put their bigs out on the perimeter and they'll do this. Do a lot of dribble handoffs, screens, and then roll to the rim. And if they can get deep position, they'll post up.
UConn leads it by 3. Hicks trying to get all the way to the basket. James Baker, number 3, is checked into the game. There's Hicks from way downtown. Terrence Smith, quick burst, and he's hit on the arm by Davon Cooper on the way to the bucket. Terrence Smith will shoot 2. UConn men's basketball will host University of Missouri Kansas City in a Huskies and Heroes military appreciation game this Sunday, November 11th, 5 p.m. right here at Gamble Pavilion. Get there early for your chance to get an exclusive UConn camo bucket hat. Tickets start at just $15 at UConnTickets.com. UConn basketball, it's a Connecticut thing.
You see early what Terrence Smith will give UConn, just that experience, that toughness, that ability to attack off the bounce.
They started all 32 games as a junior at Duquesne, came off the bench a season ago, averaged just over 12 points, so he can score the basketball. Quick hands by Gilbert. Hicks keeps it alive. And here comes Malik Riddle, cannot finish at the rim. Man, UConn looking to run every chance they get. Gilbert to Terrence Smith, rising up and sending it in.
Well, again, UConn at the rim protecting and defending, and Morehead State had an opportunity to drive and then dish, but they just continue to try to go like that, off balance, miss shot, and here come the Huskies.
Hicks very quick on the offensive end. That's Gilbert off the feed from Terrence Smith. There's a three-pointer from Alteri Gilbert.
Well, UConn's defense will slowly do this to you. They will wear you out with their pressure. And then coming back the other way, it's right to the rack for the finish. Attack with their pressure on the defensive end. If they don't attack defensively, that they get into a half-court game defensively, and they're not good rebounders, so that will go against what they want to do as well.
It's Jordan Walker over to James Baker. Another quick shot by Morehead State. They're shooting it at just 27% so far on the night as Connecticut has opened this 10-point lead. Carlton getting good position, and that's an easy 2 for Josh Carlton.
That's what happens when you space a big man with 4 shooters around one, and they're doing a good job of putting him right in front of the rim, carving out that big space, and good footwork with the finish.
6 points now for Josh Carlton. Straight away, Malik Green, and that one goes down, and a big bucket for Morehead State. They needed that to stem the tide. But Gilbert's got a great handle. Vitale into the right corner. That's Polly. And that's Tyler Polly, who led Connecticut a season ago in three-point field goal shooting percentage. Knocks one down from the corner.
Well, that's UConn understanding what they want to do offensively. They know if they drive into the lane that there is a spot-up shooter standing with his feet set in the corner.
Jaimin Henson. Nice offensive rebound right there from Malik Riddle, the freshman from Holly Springs, Mississippi. That's Vitale, and that one rattles in from the left corner. Christian Vitale now with 5 points.
Well, a mirror image of the last play on the other side of the floor. Vitale just getting his feet set. They dribble drive into the gap, and they know Vitale's waiting in the corner to knock it in.
Another block by Josh Carlton.
Well, sharing the basketball at its best. A year ago, Josh Carlton didn't have the strength or the ability to do this, but he's worked on his body and his confidence is there. They'll pass the ball in front of the rim. And Polly, this is what he does best.
UConn has 9 assists on their 13 made baskets. Loose ball is going to be staying with Morehead State. The possession arrow goes their way. Well, the officials just conferring, but it is going to be Morehead State basketball.
See UConn, even on a baseline out of bounds, a lot of pressure. They're not letting you have anything easy.
Good up fake. Brendan Adams recovers, but a tough shot inside. That's Jordan Walker, who now has 6 points for the Eagles. We're coming up on 5 minutes to go here in the first half at Gamble Pavilion. A sellout crowd here tonight for opening night in Storrs, Connecticut. Christian Mattel, a lot of dribbling out there. Shot clock under 10, and finally it's knocked away by Jordan Walker. Walker trying to get all the way to the goal using the left hand, and he scores.
Mattel taking an air out the basketball on that last possession. Sure, he will hear about that in the under 4 timeout.
Smith can't get it to go, and it's corralled off the iron by Lamontre Harris. And there's a palming violation. Watch SNY UConn basketball games anytime on any device with live streaming on SNY.TV and the NBC Sports app. Your home for live streaming coverage of every SNY UConn basketball game. Christian Vitale is out of the game. Altari Gilbert back in. Gilbert so quick, spinning it off the window, can't get it to go. It's knocked away, going to stay with UConn.
Well, interesting there. Altari Gilbert took a pretty good crash to the deck, and the UConn faithful holding their breath. But he's taken a few hits already this season, and they said he's fully recovered from the shoulder situations he's had. I think that was more on his arm, but you could see he is playing with a lot of toughness tonight.
He's the 12th McDonald's All-American to play here at Connecticut. That's knocked out of the hands of Terrence Smith. Back the other way come the Morehead State Eagles, knocked away, going to stay with Morehead State. So UConn, opening night here in Storrs, they lead Morehead State 33-24. Is looking to do the same thing here at UConn.
Well, right out of the gate, this team looks a lot like his Rhode Island teams defensively, just really aggressive, and Morehead State has struggled to get anything clean at the rim.
Malik Riddle has it rejected inside. There's Riddle again, staying with it. Nice finger roll all over the front iron. This is Brendan Adams, the freshman, too hard off the back rim. UConn's lead is 7. Long rebound for Gilbert. Trying to push it down the lane, little Euro step, can't finish, kept alive. Tyler Polley wide open, and that one won't go down. And a foul called on E.J. Hicks.
Well, you saw some forces on those last few possessions by UConn, and those will be teachable moments moving forward. I mean, those aren't the shots that Dan Hurley wants. First by the youngster Brendan Adams, and then by Polley. And then Gilbert kind of forced it in transition as well.
Well, we saw Jalen Adams a moment ago on that bench, and there's a big rejection inside, and then Carleton comes up with it, but there's a walk, and it's going back to Morehead State. So Jalen Adams has played just 8 minutes in this first half, got off to a very good start, but has been on the bench for quite a while now.
And we talked about it, Gary, 38 minutes a game a year ago. They don't have to play him that many minutes this year. Dan's going to, as he said, if I'm desperate, I'll change my ways of thinking from night to night, but he's got the depth at the guard spot and some confidence as well.
Late whistle, Davon Cooper going to shoot 2. Foul is on Tyler Polley.
Second personal, 8th team foul.
That's his second personal in the 8th on the Huskies.
On the line, number 1, Davon Cooper, shooting 2.
Davon Cooper, an 83% free throw shooter a season ago, as Isaiah Whaley, who got nicked up earlier in the game, apparently is fine. He's back in, replacing Tyler Polley. So Morehead State not going away. They've cut the lead to 5 here as we come up on 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the first half. There's Gilbert losing the dribble.
Sorry, Gary, they get into the free throw line a little bit more and containing, making UConn play in the half court, but that's poor defense down there on Carleton.
Josh Carleton now with 8 points to lead the Huskies. Well, he's looked active on both ends of the floor.
Well, they don't have any size at all to combat him down there. They've got to try to change their defensive philosophy a little bit. They're getting caught dead behind him here. He's doing a good job of carving out space, but here he just kind of overextend down low, and the double comes way too late.
How about the footwork?
Excellent. He's really improved his footwork. And again, you saw it at the end of last year. They started to feel more confident about playing him major minutes, and you could see tonight he's earned it because he is the 5-man, no doubt about it.
Terrence Smith tries to spin it off the window, and there's a traveling violation. Carleton got caught in the air. Thought he could finish off the bounce and couldn't do so.
Well, that's also just confidence as well, and that ability just to catch it and gather yourself and explode back to the rim.
This is A.J. Hicks. He's had a tough first half, 0 of 7 from the floor, but his team still very much in this game. Facing up is Malik Green. That's a pretty soft, high-arcing jump shot.
Well, that's the best way to attack Carleton. You can't go down in the low box and try to shoot over the top of him. Step out, make him play as a defender facing you, and then go one-on-one against him.
Malik Green has 7 points now for Morehead State, as that one is knocked away and out of bounds, going to stay with the Huskies.
UConn in basically a 4-guard offense with Brendan Adams, Terrence Smith, Christian Vitale, and Altariq Gilbert on the floor.
30-second timeout, Huskies.
Buck 16 to go here in the first half. Terrence Smith inbounding to Vitale. Good feed inside. Extra pass. Carleton off the window. That is unselfish basketball.
It really is. And also understanding where your teammates are on the floor. And good spacing, not too crowded, but be able to make that tough pass in traffic.
Quick hands. Knocked away. Good touch pass. Vitale has it knocked away. Stays with it. And it's going to be called a jump ball.
No ball.
Almost a big-time highlight. Terrence Smith sort of with a deflection behind his head.
Well, you can see where this team can go if they get it together and start really getting into a rhythm and find some consistency at the forward spot, because their guards really are good in transition.
Good job by Davon Cooper not giving up on that play. So we're under a minute to go here in this first half. UConn leading Morehead State by 7. Shot clock coming up on 5. Terrence Smith reversing. They've got to get a shot up. Carleton does, not even close. And flying in for the rebound is Malik Green.
They never got the ball to the right side of the floor. They got stuck over there on the left, and Morehead State did a good job of jamming it.
Shot clock is turned off as we're at 15 seconds. This is Hicks. And he's bumped on his way to the bucket by Christian Vitale.
Morehead State has been much stronger with the basketball, Gary, in the last 5 or 6 minutes of this half. And it's just a better understanding of what they need to do against this defense. And that's basically space the floor and then attack. And then when the help comes from the middle of the floor, make that extra pass around the basket.
A second personal now on Christian Vitale. 10th on the team, and so A.J. Hicks is going to shoot 2. Well, make it 1-1. It's off the back iron and knocked off Brendan Adams. It's going to stay with Morehead State. Man, did you see Dan Hurley over there just bang on the scorer's table?
He's intense. There's no doubt about it. He's been upset with Matt Oblas and a couple of his calls or non-calls around the basket. That's Don Daly right there. But Dan's going to keep working the officials. He expects them to be at the highest level as well.
Final 8 seconds, opening half. This is Hicks giving it up. Devon Cooper. High arcing jump shot, nothing but net there for Malik Green as he beats the halftime buzzer to get Morehead State back within 4.
Well, give Morehead State a ton of credit. They hung with it. They were improved defensively, and on the offensive end, much more patient in the last 5 or 6 minutes, getting a better feel for this UConn defense.
Malik Green has come up very big. Original starting lineup for UConn, and this is A.J. Hicks, the senior out of Norcross, Georgia, manning the point here for Morehead State. Hicks took an extra step as Carleton came over again from the weak side and caused that.
Well, rotations are so essential when you play this type of defense because you're going to get beat off the bounce. So you have to have that help coming from the backside, and you have to trust it that it's going to be there, and that time it was.
Adams getting caught in the air. Carleton sliding down the lane. Great recognition by Carleton off the 2-man game.
Well, that's been the go-to play over the years for Jalen Adams, but you've been able to jump out and double Adams because there's been no one to finish, but that time he finished.
Hicks inside to Malik Green. Quick 2 for the Eagles.
Nice job by Morehead State attacking after the make, and that's what you have to do against this pressure.
Vitale has it knocked away, but it's off the hands of Lamontre Harris.
Now, this is how Jalen Adams has to roll this year for UConn. He has to be confident in his teammates that they can make plays, and the more confidence he gives them, the better they will become.
Jalen Adams to Vitale from the left side. Too hard off the iron. Hicks getting it to Devon Cooper. Hicks trying to get all the way to the bucket, hangs on the back iron and falls off. Here comes Gilbert. Connecticut looking to run. That's Jalen Adams from the left wing. And flying in is Tyler Polley to finish on the offensive glass.
Oh, nice job by Polley finishing the play, just not giving up, really running down the right side of the floor and coming back on that defensive possession. It was just the presence of Carleton around the rim that caused the miss.
6 points now for the sophomore, Tyler Polley. Harris into the right corner. That's Jordan Walker. Can't get it to go down, and Connecticut again in transition. Vitale might have gotten away with a walk, but it's thrown away. This is Walker. Switching to the right hand. Harris keeps it alive, and they're working very hard, and it's called on the floor before the shot. The foul is on Alteri Gilbert. That's his second personal and the first on Connecticut here in the second half.
Well, it wasn't a good play by Christian Vitale. He really didn't know where to go, and he's got to slow himself down. He's playing very, very hard, but he's got to make better decisions. And UConn, problematic, their amount of turnovers.
Walker, and that's an offensive foul. Gilbert getting strong position.
Now this is the ability to move your feet, and Vital selling it in the lane.
Third personal, first team foul.
Well, a season ago, the officials greater emphasis on offensive players causing the contact, and we saw it right there. Quick shot by Jalen Adams. Off the alley-oop, and James Baker getting it to go off the feed from A.J. Hicks.
Well, from a minor mistake to a major mistake, Jalen Adams kind of a forced shot, not getting in within the rhythm of the offense, and then back on defense, just kind of trailing the play and slaps Baker at the rim.
Well, Baker very athletic. Put on a lot of muscle this offseason for Preston Spradlin's team. Got bigger and stronger, and the ability to finish off the break.
You could see Morehead State is going to be a tough out in Ohio Valley. That they learned their lessons the hard way a year ago. The young players got a lot of opportunity, and they're not backing down.
All the way to the bucket. Christian Vital very quickly up the floor for Connecticut.
Now that's a better decision by Vital, creating that opportunity and the ability to get to the rim.
Well, Jalen Adams has gone out of the game early here in the second half, picking up his third personal foul. Tyler Polley called for that last foul. That's also 3 on Polley, as the freshman Brendan Adams checking in for Connecticut. Adams' brother, terrific player at St. Bonaventure. Now in the NBA, two-way contract with the Atlanta Hawks.
Well, it's interesting the way Dan has been subbing tonight. You see who he's confident in, and this is a 4-guard lineup once again.
And that's a call on Baker. Offensive foul, a little push.
Well, the frustration there by James Baker, that the pressure was coming from the perimeter. He just a little shove to try to create some opportunity.
Terrence Smith into the game now, number 2 for Connecticut. Vital and Gilbert in the backcourt, and there is the freshman. That's a really pretty jump shot.
It is, and again, that's how Connecticut wants to run their offense. Kind of a 4-round one, but they really use the entire court. They use the corners, so gives the guards more opportunity for space and drives, and then they know where the shooters are in the corners.
That's the first collegiate bucket for Brendan Adams. As Walker tries to save it, going to go back over to Connecticut. Gilbert getting it swatted away by Baker, who came from the weak side, and then Carlton called for the foul. That's his second personal.
Nice job defensively by Morehead State, giving UConn a little taste of their own medicine, and you see the ability to elevate by both Baker and Green at the rim.
Well, Morehead State has not seemed overmatched or wide-eyed coming in here. We spoke to Preston Spradlin this morning. He said his team a year ago, they played at places like Virginia Tech and Butler and Kentucky in an exhibition, and Xavier. So they've played in big environments before.
Well, it's one thing to play there. It's another thing to compete, and that's what they're doing tonight. And they've learned their lessons from a year ago. And even in this game, impressive that they didn't just fold when they were down double digits.
Well, the crowd does not like that call. It's the first personal on Terrence Smith.
Well, on the dribble drive here, you cannot put your hands on the dribbler, and you have a great angle on that one.
There's Baker off the alley-oop on the inbounds, and he rises up. for the two-hand stuff.
Well, here's where Morehead State can take advantage of UConn's really smallish lineup and try to attack the rim.
Carlton double teamed, good extra pass. Smith getting it to Gilbert, putting it on the deck, and boy, great move right there by Altari Gilbert. So athletic, the ability to knock down that mid-range jump shot.
And he took his time, Gary, with balance and confidence on that wing.
Altari Gilbert now in double figures. He's got 10 points. Baker, the three-pointer. He's been big here for Morehead State in the second half.
Morehead State feisty, tracking down those loose balls.
Gilbert hit inside on his way to the bucket. He's going to shoot two, and anytime he hits the deck, you get a little bit nervous, but he gets up, appears to be fine. Connecticut leading by 6 here early in the second half.
It'll be fun to watch them navigate, and maybe we'll sneak over here on Sunday, Gary.
I think it's the right thing to do.
If Luigi leaves us a couple tickets, I don't know if he will.
You've got the inside track there. Altari Gilbert, one of his 2 free throws goes down. UConn led by 4 at the half. They lead it by 7 here with 15 minutes and 24 seconds to go. Opening night here at Campbell Pavilion. Big energy in the building tonight. Jordan Walker being guarded by Terrence Smith. A.J. Hicks up, under, off the rim. Will not go down, and Carlton corrals the rebound.
Again, Carlton's presence being felt in the middle, right in front of the rim, just his length, disruptive.
Gilbert, no, Fatale can't finish. Let's check in with Maria.
All right, Gary, well, Coach Hurley was pretty angry in that last timeout, calling Morehead State scrappier than his team and accusing his team of getting loose balls but then relaxing. That is not what he wants to see. Back to you.
Well, if there's one thing Dan Hurley wants to see out of his team, he wants to see them outwork the opposition. Josh Carlton triple teamed, reversing. Terrence Smith. Ball fake, off the window, and it goes down.
Yeah, that's why Dan Hurley brought Terrence Smith into this program. He knew that he would have that toughness, that ability just to take shots when he had them, and also that experience to finish plays at the rim.
6 points now for Terrence Smith. There's Baker, way too hard. Smith on the wing. Jordan Walker reaches in, and he's called for the foul.
And here's Smith just understanding that the defense went one way, and then the degree of difficulty at the rim.
4th personal foul, 4th team foul.
Well, Terrence Smith is somebody who can score the basketball. As I mentioned in the opening half, he averaged a dozen a game a season ago at Duquesne and had some big games. He had 26 against Southern Illinois at the Las Vegas Classic.
We tried to get the comparison out of him of father and son since he played for both, but he is a smart man as well. He wouldn't bite on that one.
Altari Gilbert, the floater. He's now got 13 points. He leads the way for the UConn Huskies. They've opened the lead to 11. Quick hands by Smith. Has it knocked away inside, but a whistle and a call on Davon Cooper. We've just gotten word that Isaiah Whaley is not going to be back tonight. He suffered a sprained ankle, and we could see him turn it right there. Happened in the first half.
That's too bad, because he's showing some signs of adapting to this system. He's going to be needed throughout the season. It gives him that another wing with some pretty good skill on the baseline.
Eric Cobb is checking into the game, big man for the Huskies. Adams to Vitale. Here comes Morehead State, Malik Riddle. And it goes off the hands of Davon Cooper, back to UConn.
Riddle just going a bit too fast and not understanding as a freshman that if you don't have the numbers, you got to pull it out and wait.
That's turnover number 12 for Morehead State on the night. Great crossover by Smith, spotting Brendan Adams in the corner. He can't get it to go, and Cobb is going to be called for the foul over the back. That's his first personal on the night.
Foul, Huskies 0, Eric Cobb. Second personal, team foul
Now,
number
Danny
6.
Hurley, you watch him on the sidelines, entertaining in so many ways, but there's a method to the madness.
Absolutely, and he's one of those guys that he can bark and scream and attack his players, but they'll play hard for him all the time because they know he has their back, and he's got the cachet now because he's done it before.
Lamontre Harris from straight away. And a quick timeout. So Lamontre Harris getting more instated this year. This is Terrence Smith, and Kasum Yakwe, number 14, is checked into the game. He's a grad transfer from St. John's as well. Shot clock at 5 now. Smith has to put it up. Has it rejected as the shot clock goes off. It's going to go over to Morehead State.
Dan Hurley going a little bit bigger now with both Yakwe and Cobb in the game, just giving a little bit more presence defensively and on the glass. But I think Yakwe is going to be an important part of this team. He had some very good moments at St. John's, including his freshman year. He's just a glass sweeper and a basket protector. He's not much offensively, but he can do some stuff defensively.
Little floater won't go down, and there's an offensive foul. Terrence Smith stepping in.
Now again, the veteran presence being in the right place on the rotations, and Smith selling it.
Second on Hicks, 6 team fouls.
That foul on A.J. Hicks, that's his second. Back to Yakwe. He's dealt with injury and ankle injury last season, dealt with a foot injury early in this season, but Danny Hurley telling us that he's got a chance to play significant minutes. You mentioned he had great success early as a player at St. John's. He was on the all-rookie team in the Big East Conference as a freshman. Here's Hicks getting it out to Riddle. Knocked away, going to stay with Morehead State. Dan Hurley pleading his case, not going to win his case. Huskies lead it by 8.
This half has done a much better job of mixing up his game, getting to the rim.
A.J. Hicks getting it down to Lamontre Harris. Little baby hook that crawls around and drops in.
And that's a problem for Tyler Polley tomorrow in the film session. He just got punked down in the in front of the rim, and Dan Hurley will call that out. There's no doubt. He's got to show a lot more toughness defensively.
Lamontre Harris now in double figures. He's got 10 points. Jalen Adams back into the game now for Connecticut. Spinning, spotting Brendan Adams. That's a smooth jump shot by the freshman.
Also very good offense, just taking their time, drawing the defense, and then finding the open man on the weak side.
That's the second three-pointer from Brendan Adams. A.J. Hicks. There's that high-arcing jump shot from Malik Green, who's now got 14 points. He leads the way for Morehead State. That's an errant pass, but Polley able to fend off the defense. And there's Terrence Smith. That's a good-looking stroke by Terrence Smith.
Yeah, it's nice offense, sometimes by accident. And Eric Cobb out on the perimeter just fumbling it around, but they found a way. Sometimes that happens when you're the aggressor.
Good defense. Morehead State able to stay in the front court. Strong move to the bucket, but Davon Cooper cannot finish. Bounce pass. Smith finishing. from Jalen Adams. UConn getting out and running.
Nice job by Eric Cobb, though, with the block shot on one end, and then you know what's going to happen after that. After they retrieve the loose ball, off to the races, and Smith does what he does. He finishes at the rim.
UConn opening the lead to a dozen now. Their largest lead of the night, 13. That one goes off the leg of Davon Cooper and back over to the Huskies.
Well, Eric Cobb wanting some more minutes, started this with the block shot, and then Jalen Adams, the trust to the grad student, knowing he'll finish the play.
Drive of the game brought to you by Nissan. As Connecticut has turned up the defensive pressure, and it's affecting Morehead State. Jalen Adams hanging in the air, and he draws the foul.
Foul number 12, Malik Green. Third personal foul.
I like
Team foul number
Gary,
7.
just the persona tonight of Jalen Adams. He's taking shots when he's needed to. He's made the plays, but he's also been very unselfish, getting a lot of people involved and not forcing the issue. And I'm sure Dan, he didn't like that point being taken off the board, but I'm sure he's been very happy with Jalen Adams' play.
Well, Jalen Adams has made a difference since coming back into this game. UConn is on a 9-0 run since Jalen checked back in.
Substitution. Number 3, James Baker. Because number 13, Lamontre Harris.
So UConn now opening their largest lead of the night at 14, and now they bring full court pressure.
Right now they're just trying to do one thing. They're trying to wear out this Morehead State team with their pressure, with their depth on the perimeter, using a little bit more depth up front. And this is crunch time for Morehead. Do or die.
Simon Henson, number 32, is checked in for Morehead State. Hicks. And Terrence Smith is called for reaching in. There's energy in this building tonight.
And sometimes, Gary, not only the players, but the fans take on the personality of the coach as well. And the fans, they don't think UConn ever fouls, which is kind of a Dan Hurley trait.
That's the 7th foul of the second half here for Connecticut. So A.J. Hicks is going to shoot 1-and-1.
Well, I can tell you from experience, this building can be a nasty place to come into, and it hasn't been for a while, and that's what they need. They need the students back, and they need the energy and the fear of coming to Gamble put back in the hearts of the opponent. And feeling a little bit of that tonight. Just some good energy, some good vibe. The students have been standing the whole night, so far so good in 2018.
Well, we've spoken many times, Tim. This is a really good building for college basketball. When it's full and when it's rocking, it's got a great college atmosphere. Carlton off the offensive glass, and then he's hit on the arm.
Well, the type of basketball they're going to play, people are going to like this style. There's no doubt about it, and I think the infusion of the new talent really has helped UConn. When you talk about when Terrence Smith is a guy you can see, he's going to play a fast tempo game. He's not going to try to force things. He's going to be a hard-nosed defensive player. Brendan Adams can knock down shots, and when you have a good point guard, that's going to make Jalen Adams better. He's going to have to do everything on the offensive end. He's going to take what the defense gives him, and then he's going to make plays most of the time when he is just taking it when he has to.
1 of 2 for Josh Carlton. Davon Cooper has it Rejected. There's going to be a jump ball. It was Carleton who came over, got his hand on the ball, and the possession arrow going back to Connecticut.
Well, again, we talked about it. The rotations are so important, and then Carleton's ability to move his feet late in the game after playing major minutes. A huge difference from a year ago. He's got himself in tremendous shape from his freshman to sophomore year.
Carleton along the baseline, in traffic, putting it in off the window. Josh Carleton now with 15 points for the Huskies to lead the way.
Well, he's not scoring over a long shot blocker. He's got a lot of size and height on the defense, but that doesn't matter. He's making plays pretty fluidly around the rim.
James Baker back the other way. High arcing three. He's in double figures with 10 to get Morehead State back within a dozen. Under 8 minutes to go here in the second half. Jalen Adams, little jump step. That's a big time move. That's a veteran Euro step move right there.
Well, it is, and it was created because they had space and they took their time, and then he saw that little opening and took advantage.
UConn has turned up the defensive pressure as Lamontre Harris scores over Carleton. Harris now with a dozen. He leads the way for Morehead State.
That was a good move by Harris, right in the face of Josh Carleton.
Tyler Polley off the feed from Jalen Adams. That's an air ball. Carleton hitting the deck as he knocks it away. Terrence Smith. Patel calling for it, wide open. Carleton tries to keep it alive, and he goes flying into the stands underneath the bench. Danny Hurley off the bench and making sure Josh Carleton is okay. And the many faces of Dan Hurley, man, he is so animated on the Connecticut bench.
Goodness, that man scares me. I would dive on the floor for that guy.
Look at him getting into it. Step back, Lamontre Harris. Really, really nice move over Carleton.
Well, Preston Spradlin's got to be pretty happy with his team's effort so far tonight. They've made some tough shots. They're hanging in there, and they are pretty strong and tough defensively, doing a good job of communicating and containing UConn in the half court.
Jalen Adams hanging in the air and then kissing off the window. It's somewhat effortless.
Well, it is, because he's doing it within the context of the offense, and the floor is space, so he has room to roam, and he's got shooters around him, so you've got to stay home on the outside, and allows him one-on-one coverage in the middle of the floor.
A dozen now for Jalen Adams. That's Jaimin Henson. And Christian Patel, who led UConn in rebounding a year ago, goes up to get it. Altury Gilbert trying to get to the bucket, and he's fouled on the floor.
You said it, Gary. It's almost like he's playing in the park by himself on a Sunday afternoon, just up and over. But you see the ability to operate with a little bit more space because of the fact he's got shooters and guys that understand the spacing out there on the perimeter. And they're moving Carleton a lot in and out. And he's not just planting himself at the foul line or at the top of the key. He's screening and then rolling. But he's rolling with space as well, and you've got to pay attention to him now because you see his improved footwork.
Well, Dan Hurley has said that Jalen Adams, if he can shoot the ball a little bit better and find, and his word here, grit, he has the chance to be a solid NBA player. But it's a big year for Jalen Adams. Harris, a lot of bouncing of the basketball. That's blocked by Jalen Adams. Adams giving it up for Patel. He has it blocked. He stays with it. Has it blocked again. And UConn going to reset.
I don't think Dan can say much on that possession about trying to attack the loose ball. They are putting their body on those loose balls, and they stay with the play.
Carlton maybe using the offhand, but he got away with it. Might have hooked right there, but he gets to the bucket. He's now got 17.
Well, how about Josh Carlton, the improved Josh Carlton, warranting a double team on the box? Who would have ever thought of that? And then attacking it with ease.
Lamontre Harris is fouled by Alteri Gilbert. He's going to shoot 2.
Watch Josh Carlton really taking his time, gets away with one, as you said, Gary, with the hook, but forget that. It's the ability to attack. That even brought Dan's shirt out from his belt.
The shirt is out. He's getting the crowd fired up here.
This is down and dirty basketball at its best.
Well, each of the last 2 years, Dan Hurley has taken a team to the NCAA tournament. Rhode Island, a season ago, 26-8. At one point, they won 16 consecutive. They beat Oklahoma in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Then the previous season, he won 25 games. They beat Creighton in the tournament. And so not only does he show that he has regular season success, but he's had tournament success as well, something he looks to do here at UConn, return this program to national prominence. Gilbert getting it to Smith. You know, sometimes we forget it's just a handful of years since UConn won the national championship.
Well, moving into the American this year, it certainly is an open door as far as who's going to be at the top. I mean, UCF, most people think they're going to be the leader in that league, but really UConn could make a move if you keep seeing the improvement of Carlton and Gilbert stays healthy.
Davon Cooper now has 11 for Morehead State to get them back within 11 as we're under 4 minutes to go in the second half. Adams, boy, that quick first step, just gliding past the defense.
Now they brought the big up Carlton, and he refused the ball screen and just attacked that right alley right to the rim because Vital was on the same side of the floor and they couldn't help.
UConn has 4 in double figures. Adams amongst them. He's got 14. Lamontre Harris. Wisely kicking it back out. Jordan Walker out of control, and here come the Huskies. Jalen Adams putting it up, and Terrence Smith couldn't control it. Jordan Walker back the other way. The bucket and the foul as he's hit by Alteri Gilbert. A chance at a 4-point play. So Jordan Walker keeping the Morehead State Eagles in this game. They're down by 10. 13 seasons under Jim Calhoun, was part of those first 2 national championships in 1999 and 2004. Kamani Young and Kenya Hunter as well. So a completely revamped coaching staff here at UConn. Jordan Walker completing that 4-point play to make it a 76-67 game with 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the second half. Brendan Adams, the freshman, number 10, is in. Danny Hurley has 4 guards on the floor at the moment. The shot clock coming up on 5. Gilbert loses it. He's going to have to just hoist it, which he does. And that's a shot clock violation.
Good job by Morehead State keeping the ball on one side of the floor and containing Gilbert, not letting him get into the gap, and kind of hanging around with pretty consistent, tough play. They've Carlton too much room around the basket, and Adams the ability to score in the half court, but they are not giving up.
Morehead State returning 6 of their top 7 scores from a year ago, but that's not even close from A.J. Hicks. He's had a really tough night. He's 0 of 11 from the field tonight. Jalen Adams doing it himself. Houdini off the window.
You know, one-on-one basketball, it's like being in the park, Gary, and that's because his teammates are in the right spots. They're not crowded, and they brought the big up. They had to help a little bit. He found the seam, got all the way to the rim.
UCONN wisely pulls it back as the Eagles get back defensively. One of the things I think we've seen from Adams tonight, he has not forced anything, right? I mean, he's let the game come to him.
He hasn't. And, you know, the thing about him is that they've moved him around. They still have used that ability from him to attack from the point with that ball screen at the top. Also, he's more comfortable, I think, off the ball and not knowing he has to shoulder all of the ball handling responsibilities.
Alteric Gilbert losing it. And we've got a timeout, and that moment for UCONN and from Dan Hurley.
I think so, and he probably had more to say to his team. The short timeout wasn't good enough for him, and he had a couple in his pocket, so he wanted to make sure that they knew what he wanted.
Jordan Walker is fouled by Tyler Polley. That's his 4th foul on the night.
4th personal foul on Polley, team foul.
Well, Morehead State struggled on the road in a very big way season ago. They were 1-15 away from home, and their road season on the brink of beginning on a losing note tonight as the aforementioned Josh Carlton checks back in for Tyler Polley.
Well, the hardest thing, Gary, when you take over a program, you don't really know your players totally, even though they've been together since the summer, is that you don't understand who's going to step up when the lights go on. So understanding who you want to play when you drive to the arena and say, who's going to step up tonight? Who can I trust on the basketball court in the last 10 minutes of the game? But I think Dan's done a nice job tonight of rotating guys in and out, never really having a lineup out there on the floor that didn't have some scoring or didn't have the right defensive players to attack and continue his philosophy of the pressure on the perimeter.
1 minute to go here, opening night, Gampo Pavilion. One thing we do know is that he has confidence in his guards. 4 of them on the floor right now, including the graduate transfer, Terrence Smith. Nifty move in the lane, but cannot finish. Look at Carlton on the deck. Look at Patel on the deck, right in front of Dan Hurley.
Dan handed out some candy to all the players, kind of a tradition he has. His wife Andrea packs them in a little bag, and Christian Vital will get an extra candy for this one.
Well, under 45 seconds to go. Carlton's on the floor and Vital is on the floor. And that's culture that he is trying to instill here.
It is. I saw the candy being handed out, but I looked at these guys' bodies and really improved their bodies in the offseason. I'm not sure candy is on the diet plan for these guys. That guy right there, too, is, I don't know if he lost weight, but he redistributed it. You can just see Josh Carl. He didn't get tired at all tonight. He played major minutes. He ran up and down the floor. He did a great job defensively, and that's just a huge plus for Connecticut moving forward.
Well, the candy, it's the Halloween season.
Personal foul on number 12, Tyler Polley.
Saw the look in the strength coach's eyes. He wasn't so happy about it over there on the sideline.
Tyler Polley has fouled out of the game, and so Dan Hurley will make a substitution. Josh Carlton is back on the floor now for the Huskies. Well, tonight marks the 30th season, the start of the 30th season of Gampo Pavilion here on the UCONN campus, and it appears that it's going to be a positive start to the 30th anniversary.
It's always good as a new coach when you take over, you get the win, but there's a lot of teaching moments as well. I'm sure Dan will find all of them. Some of the turnovers, some of the lack of rebounding, some of the getting beat off the bounce, and all those things a perfectionist will point out to his basketball team. But it's good to schedule a team that you think that a little bit more talent than in the first game and not blow them out, but learn from it.
2 free throws.
I've been impressed with this young man right here, Terrence Smith. We had a chance to visit with him earlier on, and he talked about the trust factor, right? He knows how hard, you know, Danny can be on his players, but he trusts him that he's going to make him a better player.
Well, he's been through a lot of different levels of play and played a lot of games, so he seems like a confident young man that he's going to do some really good things here in his only season at UConn.
So the UConn Huskies on their way to an opening night win here over Morehead State.
Personal foul.
Season ago, UConn 14-18, and then the previous season, again under 500, 16-17. So this is the first building block in what Dan Hurley hopes to be a quick turnaround, but one that I think is going to demand a little bit of patience.
Well, what he did at Rhode Island was interesting. I mean, obviously went in with the same type of energy and promise of toughness and playing hard and outworking people, but it took him a while to get the players that fit his system in the fold. And you know, again, the addition of Brendan Adams, Terrence Smith, and a healthy Altery Gilbert is going to go a long way with this team.
Final 10 seconds. Walker cannot get it to go. Lamontre Harris. And that is going to do it. Dan Hurley, his first game as the UConn head coach, and he picks up a victory.